Eight, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hello, welcome to Andy Decodes the 12th Dimension. Tonight, or today, or whatever time it is, wherever you are, I'm joined by Chris Reinhardt, who is or does Discover Sasquatch. So welcome, Chris.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for having me. I'm excited to do the show. That was a great intro.
Thank you.
After what happened pre-show here, I got the chills now.
Should we talk about that first, then, before you tell us what Discover Sasquatch?
Tell everybody what just happened. Yeah, tell them what just happened.
Right, so we're sat here, and Chris goes, have we got time? I just need to go and use the bathroom. So I'm like, yeah, cool. I was still setting everything up. And so I'm sat here, and I heard something or somebody say, "Are you all right?" But it's like a whispery talk. And so when Chris came back, we was having a chat, and I asked him, was there anyone else in the room? And no, he's in the basement. The next person's up. Is it the third floor?
Yeah,
three floors up.
Yep.
And he's got a sound. You got a sound gate on the door.
I got noise gate on my soundboard, so the sound gets shut off when nobody's here, so you can't hear nothing.
Yeah, but I could hear somebody trying to talk to me, and then Chris confirmed that there are disembodied voices that happen quite a lot where you are. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, we definitely have activity here at the house for sure.
Yeah. So, right, yeah. So we got a bit goosebumpy and a little bit freaked out with that. Hopefully, we'll pick some more up. Unfortunately, I wasn't recording.
Yeah, but still,
it's how it goes, isn't it? You never get the best stuff.
Never a dull moment here, that's for sure.
No, definitely not. So, can you tell me and everyone else what Discover Sasquatch is all about?
So, Discover Sasquatch, I created when I first started. It was actually called Berkshire Bigfoot, and then it moved to Berkshire Mountain Sasquatch, and now it is finally nestled up to Discover Sasquatch. As I progressed in the field of investigating the cryptids, of course, if you're out there and boots on the ground, things progress in this research. And from where I was when I was Berkshire Bigfoot was flesh and blood, everything, to where I'm now is Discover Sasquatch, where anything goes. Then everything that's happened and you'll learn as the show goes along. So I progressed. The name has progressed. Discover Sasquatch is more broader. It covers more of an area. It covers aliens and paranormal and everything that goes along with the cryptid. So that's what Discover Sasquatch is all about. We also have a little podcast we do on Tuesday nights also. Once a week, and on YouTube too. So we have a podcast. We investigate. I love to travel, and I want to actually start doing travel documentaries, but we'll see. You can only go one step at a time. So right now it's the podcast and investigating, and we'll see where that leads to.
Excellent. Thank you for that. Right. So I suppose the main topic tonight is going to be Sasquatch, is it?
Yeah, well, Sasquatch is intertwined with everything else, so it'll all, by the end of the show, it'll all make its way into each other, and weave itself a basket.
One big circle of connections.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Right. So where shall we start? What do you want to start with?
Well, we can start right at the beginning if you want, with how I got into it.
Yeah.
When I first started, I never knew that investigating Sasquatch was a thing until I was introduced to YouTube. I always, you see all the specials on TV, you see the meldrums, and you see the same faces. So you figure those are the only guys that are doing it.
Yeah.
And they're limited to the Pacific Northwest. That's where all the sightings you see on TV. That's where, Patty was in California. And that's where everything went on. So I got introduced to YouTube, and I put in Bigfoot and this whole new world, because I watched everything I could on Bigfoot when I was growing up, 8, 10, 12, 14 times. And whenever it was on, I watched it.
Yeah.
So I learned that you could actually do it yourself. You could actually go into the forest and try and, locate Sasquatch. I mean, you could do it yourself. So I decided to do it. And, that's what led me to the investigating, and that was 7 years ago, and I haven't stopped since.
Yeah. And you say you go out, is it 3 times a week?
Well, as many times as we possibly. When I first started, I was really addicted. I was like 5-6 times a week. Every night we were going out, and I believe that's what you have to do. They have to get used to you. The more they see you, the more they will the more they interact, I believe.
Yeah. So the ones that you are interacting with, are they the same ones, or does some come and go? Do they switch about or anything?
Well, I've had 3 areas that I've researched here, and I had all you pick out names for them so you can remember which one. I have one that's called Rock Valley, then I have one that's called Larry's, and then I have another one that's called Up the Road. Now, Larry's and Up the Road, I believe, are the same ones because they're connected by the same brook. They're only 10 minutes by truck or car or whatever away from each other. So I believe those are the same ones, but I think Rock Throw Alley is a whole different. There's different things that happen at Rock Throw Alley that doesn't happen at Larry's. So.
Right. Okay.
So I've been lucky enough to find 3 areas here. I'm in Northwest Connecticut, and I found 3 areas that are pretty steady with interactions. I mean, I bring new people there all the time, and they're just blown away by what happens up there.
Yeah. Can you tell us some of the things that have happened?
Okay, well, the very first thing that's ever happened to me was at Rock Throw Alley, and we were just starting, and we were, checking out, structures like everybody starts off. You see the structures, you can go find them, and so we actually came across 2 at the bottom of the mountain, and it was like dusk. It was late in the evening. We're just on our way, through just looking at these structures. So we start leaving the structures, and we get out we're on our way out, and all of a sudden we hear like a wounded dog. It was like whimpering, like it got hit by a car. Because we're in a state forest here in Connecticut. So we figured a dog got hit by the car, and it's in the brush, and it's whimpering, because it's hurt. So we go over to where the whimpering's there. We get there, and there's nothing there. Nothing. And then all of a sudden, 50 feet up to our left, the whimpering starts again. So we figured the dog got scared. He crawled away from us. We didn't see it because it's dusk. It's a little dark, so we didn't see it. So we go up there to the spot where its whimpering's coming from, and guess what? Again, nothing's there. 50 feet up to our right, what happens again? The dog whimpering again. My buddy gets wise to it. He goes, whatever this is, it's leading us into the forest.
Yeah.
No flashlight. We were not prepared for this. We need to get out of here. And so I agreed with them. So we turned and we went back. We got to the logging road, and all of a sudden we heard this. I don't even know how to explain it. Something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was. And then all of a sudden a rock came flying out of the woods and landed right in back of us. And that was our first interaction with what we don't know what it was, because we didn't see it, but whatever it was got us to hightail it out of there that night. And then after that, I was hook, line, and sinker. And then once you get that interaction, that that it takes hands to throw stones, and whatever threw that at us wasn't there. We were right there. We could see everything around us, but we couldn't see what threw the stone. So
So when you have seen one, do you believe, or do you think that there's only one there? Do you think there's maybe a group of them?
I think there's always a group. I think they're never alone.
Yeah.
I think they watch out for each other. But I couldn't tell you how they travel back and forth. I mean, at the beginning, I thought these guys were all flesh and blood.
Yeah.
But there's something else. There's something else going on. There's something extra special about these. I call them people. I call them an ancient people. They've been here longer than we've ever known, and they know how to use that. They know how to use this. We had that sense at one time, and we forgot how to use it. And I think they can use that sense that they have to travel in and out of the veils, which I believe now.
Yeah. No. Cheers for that. So should we talk about the images or the videos that you've sent?
Yeah, sure.
Do I go through some of them?
Sure.
And hopefully people, viewers will put some questions in. So what do you want to do first? Do you want to do the videos?
It doesn't matter to me. You can do whatever. And then I have 8 EVPs I loaded up for you too, so we can listen to those later on too.
Yeah. Right. Well, what I'll do, I'll just do them in the order that you sent to me. We'll play it, and then you can talk for it afterwards. Is that okay?
Yeah, that'll work.
Cool. Right. So this is the first one.
Okay, here's a print right here. That is a big impression. I bet you that's 15 inches. I bet you that's the big guy from down the road. You can see where the toe is right here. Right there's the toe. Sorry, you want to see how hot it is out here? It's my face dripping. It's freezing. But that is a print. Did you mark it?
Yeah.
That's cool stuff.
That's a big footprint.
Right, and you'll see it again. That was at Rock Throw Alley, and that's the place where I say they're the same ones, because I have another print I think that you got that I put the foot on in the outline.
Yeah.
That's the same exact print as that one, but they're 10 miles apart.
Right. So shall I play this one now then?
Yeah, show them that one. We actually asked for this print. We cut out a square, we fluffed it up and say, could you please leave us a print here?
Yeah.
And then we came back weeks later, and it rained on us. It's an hour and a half hike into where we go, so it takes a while to get there.
Yeah. Right, I'll play this one now then, yeah?
Yep.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. Pretty rough. Yeah, that's crazy. And I had a picnic that day. Oh, man. That must have sucked. Did you go to the hospital? No. Okay, try not to go.
Is this your footprint right here?
Mine?
Yeah, somebody's. This is a footprint right here. It's pretty deep. I don't think you guys can make that print. Put your foot next to Larry just to see a size comparison. Keep going a little closer. Yeah, I don't know. Don't know. This would still be down though. I think there's oops, that sucked. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah. That's a could be. No, it's smaller than Larry's. Let me see yours. Yeah, it's bigger than yours. It's definitely a footprint, dude. Smaller than Larry's. Your foot's is just not the same, not the same shape.
No, it's not.
That is a
You
footprint.
can see, like an arch.
Yeah.
And where it breaks.
It's an impression, but it's a good impression. So we'll keep on going.
The trail should be up here, right?
Yeah.
Like this is over here somewhere.
Somewhere. I think we're real close to it right here. And it's definitely not ours from last week, so you know the possibilities is our target species or someone else is hiking here.
There we go.
Yeah, so that was that rock throw alley again. That was the same spot as the last one. That was one of the smaller ones. I apologize for the breathing on there. That place is a swamp and it's hot, and I'm a 6'2", 240, so
Yeah, it's not easy, is it?
no, it's not. But yeah, that's a great place. I got stuff to play for you later on from the same place.
Yeah.
That's one of our main spots.
But I noticed with that footprint, that's quite deep.
Right.
Because even where you were stood next to it, your foot wasn't going in. I know there's a lot of leaves and foliage and that on the floor, but your foot wasn't going that far into the ground.
Yeah, no way.
Not the way that was. That was a lot of pressure on there.
Right. And the crazy part is there's only one. There's no other. I don't understand that. You find that often. You find the one print and then you won't find it. Like, I think I sent you a video of a trackway of 4 prints that were like with a huge gate. I think it says trackway Connecticut or something.
Is that the one where you're pointing?
Yeah, I don't quite remember.
Right. Well, do you want me to?
Looks like it's a TikTok video or some sort of
Oh,
stuff.
is it a black and white one? I think it looks black and white.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Right. Do you want me to play this and then we'll see? If not, I can just stop it.
Yeah. I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Okay. Here is the right footprint of our subject. You don't think it's a footprint right now, but here we go. 5 feet this way is the left print. Look at that. We should be casting this. I don't have no casting material. Very upset. It's supposed to be in my bag and it's not in my bag. I don't know where everything is. Anyways, no excuse. 5 foot gate. We should be casting this print. 13.5 to 14 inches easy. There's the other one. Now you can follow his trail. There's the other mark. 5 feet up from him. Here, let me pick it up here for you. You can see him 5 feet, 5 feet, 5 feet. It came down this way and then out that way. That's a good find. That's a good find. So again, that's the same area. Yeah, 5 foot gate. And then it gets to that ledge, that really beautiful print right at that edge, and then there's nothing. We don't find anything anywhere else. Not a tree broken, not a nothing. But the strange part about that print, and I'll tell you the strangest part about that day, is when it was 95 degrees out, we were getting eaten. It's a swamp. We were getting eaten alive by deer flies. It was awful. We were soaked. We found these prints and everything changed. The weather, like it got cooler.
Yeah.
No more bugs. It was like we were somewhere else. It felt like we were somewhere else. And the guy that I was with, he doesn't believe in all this, the other side of, what I believe in. And he goes, it feels like we are in a whole different forest right now. And it was very, very strange. It was like we entered, I think those are fresh. I mean, did you see the color of the dirt?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think we entered in the tail end of it leaving. I think it came down and it left, and we entered that little slice of wherever the remnants or the whatever they call it.
Do you think then that, because you said like everything changed, the environment, the weather, everything. Do you think you could have stepped into, I suppose, a portal of some sort?
Right. I think we stepped into the tail end of whatever was open. Yes, that's what I believe.
Yeah.
And that's not the first time that's happened. We've been up to Rock Throw Alley and had this crazy experience with rocks thrown at us and everything.
Yeah.
And two members of my team, we were just there the week before. We were on the way up the mountain, and they go to me, "Are you sure we're on the same trail? Because it sure doesn't feel like we are on the same place." And then we crazy stuff go on at the top of the mountain that day. It was like it's like you have to, everything has to align, I think, to be able to experience this stuff. That's what we're trying to focus on. You got to write down everything, the moon cycles, the weather, the barometers. I mean, you got to write it all down, because I think it all has to do with one another and when they can come and go and how they're here and how they do it. But again, this is just my opinion. I don't know. Nothing's fact. I can't tell you this. I can just tell you what I experienced, and that's all I can, comment.
That's it. Yeah. So we have got a few questions. That's okay.
Yeah.
Just about what we've just been watching. A couple from Al. I'll ask that one later because we're going to talk about that one in a bit. But this first one's from Mike Wright. Does Chris believe they are flesh and blood, physical beings, or something else? I know you've kind of answered it, but what do you now think at this moment in time? What's your thought on it?
I believe they're flesh and blood. When they're here, they eat, they sleep, they drink, they hunt, they do everything here because we see them. We get evidence of them doing that. I mean, you'll show the coyote leg. I mean, that takes physical presence. They're here physically, but I think they really think that they have this ability to be able to travel in and out of gateways. I believe we had that at one time in our past. I mean, we were ancient human, ancient beings. I believe we had that sense. You see it on petroglyphs. You see it all over the place.
Yeah.
It's all carved in stone, and people did it, and they talked about it 4,000 years ago. So we've lost track of it, because we were taught to lose track of it. We weren't taught to keep track of this. We were taught to not even think about it anymore. And so I believe they're flesh and blood when they're here, but I also believe when they're here, they can turn on the switch and turn off the switch, and do what else they do. I mean, they could disappear like in a blink of an eye, and people, it's been documented over and over again. So I believe they're a little of both. So that's my thoughts on them.
Well, thank you for that. Appreciate it. Next question is from Mr. Santariga. And he would like to know, did Chris measure the footprint? If so, how big was it?
It was 13.5 inches, like we always find at that area.
Right. So is that 13.5 with a 5-foot gate?
Right. That's a big gap.
Yeah. What, 8 foot?
Yeah, you're talking 8 to 10 feet in that range, probably about 600 pounds. I mean, those are deep prints, and the substrate in Connecticut is rock hard. I mean, it would have to be pouring rain for you to leave a footprint that deep.
Yeah.
And they were they were fresh. It was black dirt. I mean, they weren't dried out, and it was hot. I mean, it was hot a few days. So
yeah. Wow.
I believe we walked into the tail end of them leaving. I believe they were there and we walked into it. That's what I really firmly believe.
I know you said you kind of think that you've done that before. You was on a trail and it felt different. Does that happen quite often, or is it just now and again?
Oh yeah, now and again. I never noticed it.
Right.
The other people to start noticing it before I started noticing it. I guess I was used to it. When I'd have the interactions, I wouldn't even think about it.
Yeah.
But, having somebody there one week and then the next week have things go really crazy and them say that, there's something else different, then you start to think. And now I definitely keep my eye open for it.
Yeah. Has it ever got that? I don't know if bad's the right word, but has it ever got that bad that when you've gone somewhere it is completely different than it was the last time you went.
Yeah, no, I've never have, but I've heard stories from my friends that have gone to areas that have been like that. So
yeah, it's like, yeah, sorry, I was just going to say, like, so somewhere that you go regular, so you know it like the back of your hand, and
yeah.
then you'll go back, and it's like the paths are different, the trees are different, just everything about it is
Right.
completely changed.
Yeah, no, I've never experienced that, but we got lost at Larry's, and we went there for 6 straight years, and we knew the back of that place like that place like the back of our hand. And one day, all of a sudden, me and Larry look up, and we don't know where we are. Never
Wow.
been there. Never been there. Never.
Yeah.
6 years. We didn't know how to get which way to go. We didn't know where to go, how to get back. But
Wow.
we picked a direction, we walked, and then something would look familiar.
Yeah.
But only experienced that. We never experienced total change.
Yeah, I suppose that's going to be freaky enough. Just getting to somewhere, it's like, where are we?
Right. Yeah.
That's going to mess with you straight away.
Yep. And it happened a couple of times up there. We got lost one time in the laurel bushes, and that's a place where you don't want to get lost because it's just the worst nightmare. You're tangled. And,
right.
I don't know how it all happens, but yeah, we just looked up and there was this just big X right in front of us, and we were somewhere where we didn't know where we were.
Yeah, I bet panic kicked in, did it?
Yeah, a little bit until then we're calm and collective. We took a couple deep breaths. Which way should we go? Let's travel down. Down is good. So, and then eventually we ran into where we needed to be.
Oh,
but we did that at Rock Throw Alley. We walked right past the trail a couple of times, and then we're in a whole different area. I mean, we're up there like I said, 4 times a week. We don't get lost, and then all of a sudden we walk past the trail. It's weird. It's very strange.
Yeah, I can imagine. But so with the footprints, just going back to that a second, do you think that they're purposely left there by whatever if it is a Sasquatch that's doing it? Do you think they're doing it for your benefit?
I just think that's just where they are. I think that's where they come in. I think they're so heavy. They're so large. I think they're going to make footprints, and if they're going from door to door or place to place, I mean, they're going to leave some trail, on purpose. I don't know if they do it. I don't know.
Right. No, I was just wondering, just with it being like the odd 1 or 2 here and there, not like a full, like what we'd leave.
Well, I think that's because they're stepping. I think they come in, they'll step in one step, and then they're out again.
Right.
I think they're stepping in and out. Right. I mean, that's the only way I can explain it, unless they float, and I've never seen them float. So,
not yet. That's next.
No, not yet.
Oh, right. Sorry, 1 second. Right, we've got a few more questions. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So, right. So this one's from Nickname. So she's put, to add to that, what are all the signs apart from the print? So how would you know how to track?
All right. Well, I use the snaps. I use tree snaps.
Right.
Most of the times they line up, but if you have like a green sapling, say it's 2 inches, and that thing is snapped, I mean, like clean snap, you can't clean snap it. I don't care. You got to be a huge bodybuilder or something, and you're not in the woods snapping branches. No. So I really believe we follow the snaps and we pay attention. We pay attention to things because we do pattern hikes. I'll start from the beginning. We do pattern hikes. We go to an area and we follow the structures and we put an X, and then we'll go to the next one and we'll find something else, a footprint, a snap, and then we'll put another X. So we develop a pattern hike, and then we follow that all the same time, always the same way. So they get comfortable knowing where you're going, so they can follow you. They can get ahead of you. They know where you're going. There's no surprises. You're not going to sneak up on them. You're not going to catch them by surprise. Yeah. And at Rock Throw Alley, we know where they are. We know where they pick us up. We know where they leave us. We know we can hear them. And we brought somebody up there one day. She was a new member of the team. Her name is Mary.
Yeah.
And, she knew every spot because she could hear them scramble where they were, and she picked every spot of our pattern hike, and she was never there before.
Wow.
And then they throw stones at you in certain areas, and it's pretty wild. But pattern hikes are very important. So look for their stuff, look for the structures. But there's a lot of windfall, downfall. You got to see if it's manipulated, if it took hands, if they move something. We found a tree that was weaved in between these other trees 30 feet, and it went left to right, left to right, left to right, and it was like a tree like 10 inches.
Yeah.
And it was nestled in, and then the stump of the tree was 3 feet up in front of where the back end of the tree was. There's no way it fell in between there and wedged itself all the way down, because I could stand on it. I'm 200, back then 220, and I could stand on it and jump on it, and it wouldn't even move it.
Wow.
And we never found it again. We only found it once and could never find it again.
Yeah.
We've had that happen with a couple structures that they either took it down or something that we couldn't find it again.
Yeah.
So the pattern, I got off track a little bit, but the pattern hikes, we look for snaps, we look for the prints, and then we look for stuff that's out of place. They'll leave like little like stones somewhere, and if you go to the pattern hikes, you'll start getting used to it, and you'll say, "Hey, that was never there before. Hey, this is different."
Yeah.
So the more you know about the area you're in, the better chance then you'll have of experience and interaction. But you have to look for them, because I believe that they pay attention if you pay attention to what they're doing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. You're watching them watching you, sort of thing.
yes, exactly. Yep.
Yeah. No, thank you for that.
And I think they get excited about it. I think they like you looking at their stuff, because if they throw stones at you and you don't pay attention to them, they start throwing more stones because they want that reaction.
So I always thought that the rock throwing was like a warning, like to get out.
Yeah, no, I've never had any. I thought it was always games to me.
Right.
Let us know that they're there.
Yeah.
But I was involved in something in Missouri, and we would leave the campsite and we would leave recorders going, and they would throw the stones into the campsite, because I think to get a reaction to see if everybody was in the campsite. And so they would try to see if it was empty, and they would come down in while you were in there. So I believe they use it for many reasons, and most of it's for reaction, I believe. Because if they wanted to hit you, they'd hit you.
Well, that was my next question. Have you ever thrown anything that has hit you? No.
Mm.
So their accuracy must be like top form.
Oh yeah, throwing it through the foliage and then it's landing 2 feet in back of you. I mean, I've never been hit.
Wow.
I've had one come close to my head in Missouri, though. I went to the truck to grab something. I was on my way back, and it came flying right over my head and hit the tree. Whack!
Wow.
Midday, and it was chucked hard because it hit the tree hard, but didn't hit me.
Wow. No, thank you for that.
That's my favorite thing, by the way. I love the rock throwers, because there's nothing else in the woods that can do that except for a human.
Yeah, you're not going to see many squirrels throwing rocks, are you?
Raccoon's not going to be hawking rocks at you,
Yeah. Yeah. The only other thing it could be is other people, but I'm sure if it was, you'd see them.
Right. They wouldn't even know it. Why would they wait for you to go to that spot? I mean, most of my stuff is off trail.
Yeah.
So we don't stay on the trails. We go off trail. That's another good thing. Go off trail. I mean, of course, bring a GPS and never hike alone. Everybody says they go alone and all that, but we never do.
No.
And that way you're validated too, because I'm telling you everything I tell you guys on this podcast, and I've always had somebody with me, so I have witnesses.
Yeah.
My wife, she won't even go in the woods anymore with me, because she's experienced all this stuff, and what's gone at the house here the last few months is just out of this world, and she doesn't want nothing to do with it, but she won't go back in the forest again.
Well, we're gonna sorry,
go ahead.
go on.
No, I just said we had a black mass following us, and she could hear it, and then we got home and she seen it in the video. So she won't go in the woods anymore. And she goes out here. I have woods in back of my house, and she says, I feel like things are watching me when I walk up and down the road. She just won't. She doesn't want. Yeah, I ruined it for her.
Okay. Bad man. No, I was just going to say we'll cover what's going on at the house in the second half. If that's okay?
Yeah,
that is what you was telling me on the phone, was it last week?
Yeah, that's how it's progressed, though. It just keeps on progressing and progressing, and it's just wild ride.
Cool. I'm really looking forward to that part. Right. There are a few more questions. So this is from South Coast Tricky. It says, welcome, Chris. If I ever found myself in close proximity to a cryptid, how should I behave in order to give me the best chance of keeping safe?
Well, that's a great question. Thank you for the welcome. I appreciate that, and nice to meet you too. And I don't know how to. I don't know. It would be a different situation for everybody, I guess. Myself, I firmly believe that they don't hurt you. There's other people that believe that they will hurt you. So I don't want to give anybody, any advice on that, because I don't want to get hurt on my watch because I feel a certain way. So you know what I mean? That's a tough question, but myself, I believe that they won't hurt you. I've had up close. My first interaction was a Sasquatch. It huffed on the side of my face through a tent in the Ozark Mountains. It was I shook for about 20 minutes. I was pale white. And then I had to go outside and take a tree after that. Figuring anything was outside the tent still. And it's just, you don't know how. And that, I still think about that to this day when you're out in the woods, because if you're walking trails at 2:00 in the morning, they can just reach out and grab you by the back of the neck, and there's nothing you could do. They're huge, absolutely enormous, but they all come in different sizes. So I would love to answer that question, but I would feel bad if he got into that situation and what I told him was wrong. You know what I mean? So the best way I would say is be safe. Be safe about it. Back away. I mean, if it doesn't hurt you, then great. You had an up close interaction with a Sasquatch. That doesn't happen very often, or a dog man, or whatever you want to think. I think dog men are evil. I would never want to mess with a dog man. That's just my personal feeling. But I would just back up and walk away, and don't intimidate it. Maybe approach it like a bear. Put your hands up, a bear. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't approach it. I know people that do approach them. That's the only way we're going to get the evidence to do it. But they've been doing this for a long time, and they know how to do it.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry if I didn't give you the right answer, but I don't want to give you the wrong answer. And your safety is more important to me than, getting that experience.
Yeah. I suppose, though, you can only answer with how you've dealt with your experiences.
Right. But I've never had the 7 foot. He huffed through the side of the tent at me. I didn't run out the tent and look at it. Yeah. I was shaking. I mean, I felt its breath on the side of my cheek. It went right through. He walked. I listened to him walk up to the tent for 20 minutes, step by step. It wasn't thunder. It's like, you go heel to toe, and you're creeping. Crunk. And then you'd hear another. It took him 15 minutes to get to the tent, and then all of a sudden, his last step was by my ear. And I'm on the side of the tent, and I knew if I looked up, I would see whatever it was, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't bring myself to look. I couldn't. So he comes down. He goes on the side of it. Oh. And I just felt
to let you know that he was there.
Look at the hair on my arm. 7 years later, still sticking up.
I'm scared, and I'm sat in a different country.
We actually did that episode for, I think, Terror in the Woods, but they turned the whole thing around and upside down. But the interaction part of it was right, but the rest they made up. It was awful. I would never do them again.
Right. No. Thank you for that.
I'm sorry. I just don't want anybody to get hurt on my watch. I don't want to tell them the wrong way to approach it.
No, totally understand. But thank you. Right. So nickname is asked. I'm guessing she means, have you found any hair clumps when you've been out investigating?
I have never found any hair, though I've never really searched for hair. I'm more of an interaction kind of guy. I want that interaction. They've already got DNA. I mean, Melba Ketchum is back at it again, and she's just got more money thrown at her, and she's even got Dogman DNA now.
Oh.
She's testing that, and they're lining up together. Sasquatch and Dogman DNA are like lining up to be the same thing almost. And so keep your eyes open for that. Melba is doing some serious work right now. So they already got the DNA and all that. I mean, they've got plenty of it. So I'm more of an interaction. That's how we research. We want that interaction. We want to see if we can bring them in. If we can get the stone throws, we want that up close personal relationship with these guys. You know? But so that's So I'm not a big hair guy.
No.
I mean, I had a stuffed monkey at our gifting area that we had there for 6 years at Larry's. We traded with them for 6 years.
Yeah.
They took the monkey 1 year, just took it and brought it back a year later, the same week, not the same day, but the same week later. And looked like it. If you had a stuffed animal and you took it for a year in the forest, what it would look like when it came back. This thing looked like it came off the shelf. Still, it was well taken care of. It wasn't dirty. It wasn't soaked with water. It didn't smell. It was like taken very good care of. And we took a couple hairs out of that and sent it away, but it didn't come back anything. So I mean, it's expensive, and so I know I have a lot of answers.
Sorry, that makes you think then. So if they've taken that, they've had it for a year. These creatures are supposed to live out in the wild. They must be obviously not living out in the wild. They're somewhere else, because they brought it back in pristine condition. Where are they living, and where is that being kept?
Right. I don't know. I think caves have a lot to do with it. I think aquifers have a lot to do. I'm a big aquifer person. I think that has a lot to do with a lot to do.
Yeah.
High energy, underground. I have a friend of mine that lives out in Montana, and he's had unbelievable interactions with them in caves. And I mean, he's got casts that'll blow your mind. I can't really talk about on the air, but I'll tell you, I apologize, but they're kind of top secret, but they're just amazing. There's something that you've never even would imagine that you could see.
Wow.
He's even found in a cave where they kept pigeons. There was lines of pigeons up on a shelf, like 10 of them, and they were keeping the pigeons in there for their eggs. You could see he had the footprints walking up to the side of the cave, and they would step out in the cave and they would take the eggs from the pigeons. He found tons of prints in there, footprints in the sand, and it's just amazing. So I think, I think the aquifers, and I think there's somewhere, I can't explain it. I just,
somewhere else.
There's somewhere else they go to.
Yeah.
They might there might be doorways to inside the earth. Who knows? And down in the aquifers, I don't know. But there's a lot of alien reports coming out of the aquifers now also. So there's got to be huge caverns underneath us. You know what I mean? That we don't even know about. Look at what's the Mammoth Cave system there? Where is that? Tennessee or something? They find new parts of that just spread out.
Go for miles and miles, don't they?
Miles. So you could just imagine underneath the earth, there's got to be huge caverns.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Hopefully one day we'll find out.
Right. I think some people already know, but I can't say that they don't.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Right.
Do you think then that the Bigfoot or Sasquatch, they have the same ability to communicate with other animals? Like you said, they was keeping pigeons for their eggs. Do you think they have a way of communicating then with other animals?
I don't know. They might. I know they communicate with each other.
Yeah.
That's reported all over the place. But animal control, I don't know. Who knows? They might.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, because if they use mind speak, then surely it'd be possible to do that with another living creature.
Right. I don't know.
I don't know. It's just a question that come in my head. So.
Possible in my book now. I mean, nothing's coincidence anymore. I've thrown that all out the window. There's nothing will surprise me anymore that I learn about them. Nothing.
No, thank you. Right. Next one. Oh, it's a nickname when she asked about the hair clumps. Do you ever find any food waste?
We used to. We would trade with them. We had a trading area for a long time, 6 years, and we tried all bunch of stuff. But they would always take apples and peanut butter. all the time. They didn't like green apples because they would leave. We would put them in the trees. Well, I'll answer the question. Just goes along with the answer. So we would put the apples in the limbs of the trees and we would keep them up high, and they would come and they would just take them. They gathered them. We
Right.
never found any scraps, not a skin, not a little piece of apple, not a nothing. They're always gathered. The peanut butter jars is very interesting. The first two ones we left out, it took them a month before we started trading with them. They took everything off the stone that we had in the middle of the forest. But the first two peanut butter jars, they ripped them in half. They were torn.
Oh, right.
I came the second time and I took the peanut butter jar and I went like this and I showed them how to open it. 6 years later, we never found another peanut butter jar, ever. Not a single one. They took it with them every single time. We would put peanut butter on logs and put a rock on top of the peanut butter. When we got back up to the area, the peanut jar would be gone, but the rock would be right where the peanut butter jar was. So it's not a bear coming and taking that peanut butter quick so the rock drops. Right? We did everything to prove that you had to have hands.
Yeah.
By the end of the 6 years, we were burying the gifts under the ground with rocks on top of it and dirt and Tupperware containers. And we would come up here and the Tupperware container would be up and out of the ground, all the gifts taken out of them every time. The monkey, which we use as a great tool, we used to tie his arms around the branch in a knot. So the only way to get him off the branch was either slide him up 12 feet over or to untie his arms. We would go up there and the monkey would be on the ground with his arms still tied. Every time. So they were slipping that monkey up and over the 12-foot branch and then just dropping or playing with it or whatever. And they used to take plastic dinosaurs. I mean, you can see this all on my channel. It's all on Discover Sasquatch on YouTube. You can go there and see all the gifting and they left stones. I got stone collection in there that they left us and feathers. The guy that Larry used to go with me was back at his house, and he had a wood burning furnace, and they would leave him raven feathers right at the beginning of it and leave raven feathers at his car door. And they would leave him white birch. And they would put it in his woodshed because, white birch is very high. It's very high in flame. It would, you bring it camping with it's flame, lights it up. But he never kept white birch in his thing. So we would know that it was them. And then we tried feeding them meat. And that was the worst thing we ever did because when we couldn't make it back up there, they would come down to Larry's house and slap the side of the house looking for the meat. So we decided no more meat because Larry's wife wasn't having it. So no more meat. And then they wouldn't come down to the house no more. But they would never touch a hot dog ever. They would just leave it there. Now, if it was a bear, the bear would have ate that. And the funny part about it is those green apples would stay in the trees forever. A deer wouldn't come in and eat them. No other animal would approach this area. Right. Maybe a squirrel once in a while. But other than that, we never found a deer track, a raccoon track, bear track, nothing ever. So it's very strange. Very strange. But they would throw stones at us while we were up there. They would follow us and knock at us. I mean, you can see that on the channel too. Yeah. There was a very cool area, but the area got sold and we were no longer able to get up there. And I actually almost cried that day because it was terrible. I mean, 6 years of our life just right down the tubes. They were following us at the last time. But we'll get back into that because something happened here lately, and I think that has all to do with what happened up there. So.
Yep. No. Yes, definitely. Right. Next question. Oh, I'll put this on screen. This is from Baby with a Laser. Question, Scat. What do you reckon their toilet habits are? Has anyone ever found any?
Okay, so this is very, very at Larry's. We would find 3 piles of scat together. Now, we always thought there was 3 at Larry's. We thought there was a mother, a father, and those are the prints we would find. Mother, a large one, was the 15-inch. Mom had the 10-inch, and the baby we seen grow from a lighter size print to like almost 8 inches by the end in 6 years. So, I mean, the smallest print we found was like that big.
Oh.
Lighter. We got pictures of it.
Yeah.
So we always thought there was 3, and then we would find 3 piles of scat together. Now, no other animals do that together. I mean, and these were big pieces of scat. I mean, you just had the berries, the only other animal that would be in there were the black bears. And black bears just don't do that. They don't look like human feces. It just doesn't look like that. So we filmed it a couple times and we never thought another about it. So 4 years later, I hear somebody, I forgot who was talking about it, but they say the Sasquatch defecate with each other. They all use the same area. They go to the bathroom in the same place at the same time.
Right.
Bing, 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 bing. All of a sudden it comes back to my head. The 3 piles that we used to find. We used to thought there was 3 Sasquatch. We found 3 leaning trees at Larry's. So that's how there was a big stick, a little medium stick, and a baby stick. And it leaned up against the trail for 6 years. Never moved. And somebody told us that was just marking who was there. I mean, you hear people contact you that have been around them for a long time, and it gets really fascinating. And once it all starts moving and making sense, it really gets really, really interesting, and you get really hooked. But then it just like, wow, they defecate. They have to, because we found evidence of it, and now someone else is talking about the same thing. I mean, again, coincidence is no longer optional.
No.
So that's the answer to that question. Yeah. So I believe they defecate with each other in the same areas, and that's how I think they do it.
Yep. Oh,
it was funny. It was like a big pile. I know it's gross, but a big pile, a medium pile, and a small pile. It was just like the 3 bears.
Yeah.
And the 3 bears.
Yeah. No porridge though.
Yeah. No porridge.
Right. Next question is from Nickname, and she's asking, do you wild camp?
I've been all over the place camping. I mean, we pick spots in the middle of nowhere and camp. I've been to Colorado. I've been to Missouri. I've been to New Mexico. I've been to Florida. So yeah, we camp. We don't camp at camp areas. We go out and
away from everyone else.
Away from everybody else. Yes, because that's where they are, and they like to come in at night. They rule the night. That's when they're out. You have to be not afraid of the dark if you want to experience these guys. Because that's when they move.
Yeah. So. Well, when these ones that are seen during the day, do you think they're just like passing through and getting to the place where they need to be?
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I think it's an accident. I think most of everybody's interactions that have them are accidents unless they want to interact with you. Right. I think you're chosen. I really do. I think they chose the people they want to interact with, but like the people that are driving on the side of the road, or they run across the road and they catch them on camera, I think that's just by accident. I think they pop in and they have no control where they pop. Just like you see the TV shows. They go into the portals or whatever you want to call it, doorways or the veil or in and out. But they don't know where they're going to pop up because it's always moving. So they pop up there, and all of a sudden they're on the side of the road, and the car's coming. What do? You got to run across the road and get out.
Yeah, you got to keep moving, haven't you?
And everybody says, well, where did it go? They went across the road. We stopped. We looked. We can't find it. Well, it went back to where it came from, but it just happened to pop right there. I think that's what goes on. Again, just my opinion. I don't know 100%.
No, appreciate it.
You gotta make that known, because people go, well, you said, and
quote you on it. You said at this time on this show on this day.
Right. So
then we all got attacked, and it wasn't fun. It's your fault.
There's people that look for that, so you got to cover your bases.
Definitely. Right, we'll do one more before we go for a break. This is from South Coast Tricky. Do you find that they smell really bad, as this seems to be a commonly reported phenomenon?
Right. Now, I've also heard that, and we have smelt them a couple times in a couple areas, but it's very brief and it doesn't last. It's very strange. You'll smell this putrid smell, and then it's gone. And 10 seconds later, that's what we've experienced. I mean, other people have experienced it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, is it the rotten egg sulfur smell?
Yes, sulfur. Yeah, exactly. My buddy Larry, one time we were up there, he smelled something really bad, but I didn't smell it, and then he got sick as a dog. His stomach just turned green, and it's just he started getting sick, and So yeah, I've heard many reports of them smelling, but I've only smelt it briefly. I've never smelt it at long periods of time. And
Right.
again, I didn't see what was there that smell either, so I can't say if it was them 100% either. But you know, you
No.
put one and one together, where you're at, why you're there, what's happened there. So then you can start basing your stuff on that they're there. You know, your investigations
Yeah.
that Sasquatch are here, and this is what you're interacting with. At least you hope that's what you are.
Well, thank you. Right, I've got one more quick question. I think we should be able to fit it in. Infrasound. What do you think the main reason that they use that for?
Right. Now, see, everybody has their thing in infrasound. Personally, I think they use radio frequency. That's what we have been measuring. We've had 2 accounts. We've had one account in the Green Swamp in Florida, and then 2 weeks later at the top of the mountain here in Connecticut, we were getting RF readings. I have my RF meter right here, as a matter of fact. These are the meters that we use. And
right, okay.
And we set them to radio frequency.
Yeah.
And the RF meter was topping out. I couldn't go any higher. It just read 1 dash 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 and just beeped. Beep.
Continuous.
We had satellite communication people reach out to us because they seen the videos. He worked in satellite communications for 30 years. He said, if you guys were in a Faraday box and you were getting hit with that much radiation, you would cook.
Wow.
That's a broadband meter. He says, you're not supposed to be experiencing radiation at those high levels where you're at. He says, you can't. He says, the only way it can is from above. And if it was a drone shooting something down on your head.
Right.
He says, the only reason we were getting those readings while we were having stones thrown at us in Florida and here. And then the phone thing in Florida, we'll get into that in the second show when everything starts to go to the other side.
Yeah.
So the same thing, the meter was going off the charts. So I don't think it's infrasound. I think they hit you with radio frequency. I think it's a radiation, but they still could use infrasound. Who knows? But we're measuring radio frequency. It's in the same spectrum. You know, it's all in the So we're going to start measuring everything this year.
Yeah.
And using these field, I got a couple more toys that we're going to bring out with us this year to try different things. I think it's all frequency vibrations. I think that has a lot to do with it. So we'll see what goes down. But what we've experienced was the radio frequency, and it went like that for, I don't know, 20 minutes, topped out until the stone stopped. And we were getting dog barks down at the bottom of the hill. There's no dogs where we were, and north, south. And we were actually live on Facebook when it started going down, and we were on the top of the mountain showing my group the fire pit. I go over, hey, check out the fire pit. And all of a sudden, rock comes in, hits the fire pit, and everybody's like, whoa, we saw that. We saw that. And then all of a sudden it starts coming on the left, on the right, and from the back. And I had 4 other people up there that witnessed the whole thing, and it was crazy. It was a crazy day. It's called I think it's called an interaction in Sasquatch interaction in Connecticut or something like that.
Yeah.
And you can see everything I just told you. You can see the rock throws. You can see everything that went down. So
I know what I'm doing later, and I'm not going to bed. Put it that way. But the dog barks. You said that you don't think it was dogs. What do you think it was then?
I think they just mimic. I think they're masters of mimicry. I think they heard donkeys. I've heard chickens. I've heard farm animals in the middle of the Ozark Mountains, and there's no farms there. There's no nothing. So I think they mimicked the dogs. I just think they were trying to get our attention, so the ones that were up at the top of the hill could get away.
Distraction.
They're watching in a 360 now. All of us they had our attention, and we were trying to see. And Shayna, actually, part member of our team, said when we started doing, she saw one move away when we were looking at the other way. So, I think it's distraction. I think they want to get your attention so the other ones can move. It's all tactical. They're very, very smart. They're very, very smart, organized.
What's the strangest sound that you've heard one of them make? Or the creepiest?
I don't know, probably the EVPs, if that's them. I can't say. I've heard, they said hey and help and hey Rob, and they whistle at us, and I think the donkey noise was probably the strangest because you wouldn't pitch you want. I heard one scream in the Ozarks in the morning.
Yeah.
It'll just like blood curling screaming. But yeah, the donkey was the weirdest because you wouldn't expect to hear a donkey. He he. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that'd creep me out.
Yeah, no, yeah, and it's 2:00 in the morning, and you're hearing donkey noises in the forest.
I think even if it was at a farm and he heard that at 2:00 in the morning, I'd still run off. I won't be hanging about. I'd be gone.
That was a crazy place in Missouri that we used to go to. A lot of cool stuff go down. That's where I had my first interactions there, like seeing them. So I seen spider crawl. That's crazy looking at on FLIR. We saw that twice on FLIR camera.
Oh, that's when they're low to the ground, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
It's
just like about an inch off the ground with a belly in the chest.
Yeah, and it looks like a crab.
Yeah, I've seen that, and it's that's not right, is it?
Yeah, I've seen that in Connecticut and Missouri.
Really?
So it happens that they do the same things in the same areas. I mean, they do the same things. It's reported all over the place. So I mean, it's nothing different. Everybody sees the same thing. Everybody hears the same things. Everybody experiences the same things. The baby cry. I've heard the baby cry on nickname. I've heard the baby cry on tape. I've never personally heard it, but that's pretty creepy. I heard that. My friend in Colorado had it, and it was it sounded like a baby crying in the middle of the forest.
Yeah. I think that and the donkey.
If that's paranormal, if that's ghosts, if that's spirits, I mean, they're all out there too. So who knows?
And if there's a connection.
Well, I think there's a connection. Yeah. I think they're all intertwined. I think the energy is just, they all thrive on the same energies. Yeah. I think that's why you find them in the same areas. I really do. I think the energy has a lot to do. I think the Sasquatch with the RF readings and everything, I think they're attracted to a certain energy.
Yeah, I was going to say, I suppose if there's that much energy there, each one's choosing a different type of energy to lock onto.
Right. So yeah, I believe that's another big part of them. So this is all new to me. I've just realized this in the last couple of years. I mean, before that, I had my head in the clouds, but now what we've had happen to us and the experiences and the interactions, things have changed.
Yeah.
And now we're getting more interactions since we've changed, since we've went to the other side. I mean, it's pretty wild.
Yep. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. Right. So we are going to go for a break now, and then we're going to talk about literally what's going on in your backyard.
All right.
Very literally.
I hope they crazy stuff.
I hope you've all got a strong stomach for this as well, because there's a couple of pictures and videos that you'll find out anyway.
I didn't ask for any of this either. It just happened ever since
it came to you, didn't it?
Yeah, it all came to us in the Green Swamp in Florida. That's when it all started, and it's just progressed from there. It hasn't stopped.
Right. So we'll do a 5-minute break, and then we're back at your house then, Chris.
All right.
So see you in 5.
All right. Thank you.
See you guys.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
And we are back. This is just going to be like the pinnacle of everything, I think. Don't you agree?
Yeah, Maria won't agree with you. That's for sure.
No, sorry.
That's okay. She's lived it, so she knows all about it.
Yeah, I'm just very excited because I kind of know what's coming. Right. So, you was down in Florida. Yeah. Do you want to take the story?
So I have a good friend in Florida. His name is Chris Connor. He's called The Trail to Bigfoot on YouTube. Very great channel. If you guys want to go and check out his channel, very nice guy.
Yeah.
So he invited me to go down to Florida to his areas, and he had happened not to be in his areas for over a year, and he was just getting back into them, and we started going in, and we were followed. Something was paralleling us. They followed us all the way in. He has an area called the Fridge where he gifted. And we got there, and I brought pheromone chips with me. This is when I still had that mentality of the flesh and blood, so I brought pheromone chips with me. And this is what changed everything for me and him, I believe. So I put the pheromone chips in the tree branch, and we already knew we were being followed. So no longer than, I don't know, 2 minutes. All of a sudden they were around us, and we had stones coming in, like lobbing in over us.
Yeah.
In the palm fronds and breaking them. We're in the middle of the swamp. We're 3 miles into this Florida swamp. So, I mean, it's like the worst place in July to be. It's wicked hot. Alligators, spiders, everything everything could kill you. You could trip on one of those things that stick out of the ground too and impale yourself. I mean, it's
nice.
Very dangerous place, and I give them credit for researching in there because they do it all the time. And I had to buy snake boots and everything because they got water moccasins in there. And so we're getting lobbed. Now the Sasquatch are on us, so we're having stuff lobbed in at us, and he takes out the meter. He's the one that introduced me, and we got this meter from Skinwalker Ranch. We're fans of Skinwalker Ranch. They have. Yes. Have you watched that show? What they just had the other night?
Me and the guy called Chris Meek, he does Scottish Paranormal Podcast. In February, we did 4-part podcast of Secrets of Skinwalker Ranch. So we watched all 3 seasons of it, and then we depicted on what went on and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, we were really into it.
Yeah. They got crazy stuff, but they just launched those rockets the other night, and did you see it above the triangle and it hit something and they exploded?
I've not watched the new season yet. I'm going to wait till every episode's out and then just binge it in like 2 nights.
There's some great stuff already gone down there, like mind-blowing stuff already, so it's going to change everything.
Well, just before I'm on LinkedIn, and I friends with Brandon Fogel, whatever he's called. And he put a thing up saying like they started doing the experiments again over at Skinwalker, and he put a load of photos and a couple of videos. I was so tempted to have a look. Thought, no, I'm gonna have to watch it first, and I'll go back and have a look.
It's wild. It's wild. I mean, they're coming up with answers. I mean, they're coming up with answers. So Chris is a big fan. He introduced me to the meter. He brought it with us. So we're in Florida, and we're at the place. I put the pheromone chip. The rocks are flying. He turns the meter on, and instantly the meter tops out. Ooh. So I forgot for how long. We turned it off or something. The rock stopped, and so we decided to go further into the woods. And he went a couple other steps, and his sister was with us, and she wasn't too keen on going. And then me and his sister hear a knock, but there's something right next to Chris, and it goes whoosh. And we heard a knock, and he heard a whole different sound in the recordings. My recording picked up a knock. His recording picked up something totally different, and it was right next to him. So that all went down that day. A couple other things happened, and the next day, Chris and I go back into a place, and he goes, I'm going to take you to a place I call Knox Creek in the Thunderdome. It's an area that he visits all the time. He says, this is where I can go and ask for Knox. So we get to the Thunderdome. He goes, so Chris doesn't think I'm crazy, and he came all the way down from Florida to see this. Can you give us a knock?
Yeah.
30 seconds later, we get a knock. All of a sudden, Chris's phone starts going crazy.
Yeah.
Going crazy. He lifts up his phone. They're trying to get into his CVS account. They're trying to get into his work account. His phone is scrambling.
Yeah.
Someone's trying to get into his codes. The meter's off the charts. Now the meter's pinned out again, right?
Yeah.
So he shuts that off. Meter stops. He goes, what happened with your phone? I said, well, I just got this phone a couple weeks ago, so I don't, nobody knows my number, blah, blah, blah. So I look up, and on my phone, it says CMBB. 61 lines of it. So I figured it was in my pocket. Butt dial.
Yeah.
Right. So we erased everything but 11 lines, and we filmed 11 lines, so we thought it was important. But we got EVPs when we went there. We found later. I'll tell you after that. So we left there after having a lot of strange stuff go down. We got back to his house. I took a shower. I get out of the shower. I pick up my cell phone. I look at my phone again. What's back on my phone? CMBB. Capital letters, small letters, exclamation points, ... spaces.
Yeah.
They were trying to tell us that this is not a butt dial, because it didn't butt dial. It wasn't even in my pocket. It was sitting on the counter. We can't figure out what the message is. He calls his wife over. She goes, well, look at this. And she goes, I know exactly what that is. And Chris's and I's mouths just drop. Like, well, what is it? She goes, Chris, Mark, Betty, and Beata. The 4 first initials of the 4 people that have been searching for the Sasquatch in this area for the last 10 years. The first initials of their names. What with the
I'd been on the floor at that point.
With the RF, everything. I'm just like, oh my God. And strange things happened to us the next couple of days. Nothing crazy. But that just blew my mind. So 2 weeks later, we're in Connecticut. My friend comes down from Mass. I got the 2 members of my team. This is the day where they tell me the week before we were up there, and we caught mouth pops, like they make these noises. And this time we're going up the mountain, and that's when they say, this doesn't seem like the same place we were at last week. Now that's the words. You can see it right in the video. I put it right in the video. So we get up to this one area, and all of a sudden we take a break, a rock comes flying. Caught it on tape. You can hear it. Lands right behind Shayna. We get all the way up to the top of the mountain. We're starting to go up to the mountain. All of a sudden, my buddy from Mass goes, he gets his pocket turns on. His YouTube turns on in his pocket. He's like, what? Why is my phone turning on? He gets his phone's turning on to YouTube videos, doing the same thing Chris's phone was doing in Florida. We get to the top of the mountain that day. We're sitting there, and then all of a sudden I go like I told you, a Facebook group, go to the fire pit. The rock comes flying in, and then the meter goes sick for 20 minutes, and rocks are flying in left, right, back of us, the dog howling. Mike, member of my team, almost getting sick. He says his stomach's queasy. Same exact scenario, 1,000 miles apart. The RF meter going crazy, the same activity. Physical presence with the stone throws. RF waves that'll cook you. Not supposed to be registering it. 16 point and above on this RF meter should not be experienced where we were, ever.
No.
So we got down the bottom of the mountain and all that, and all this stuff just went on, and we go up there and interactions. I mean, I can play it. I'll play it. This is one of the whistles that we caught when we were up there one day. Okay, on this one. Oh, that's us. Is that you? Did you hear that out there? That was the Sasquatch whistle. Mark that spot. What does that say right there? What's the number, Mary? On that? Just tell the number on there.
153.
150. So did you hear that little?
Yeah.
So that was a lip whistle. That wasn't no bird whistle.
No. Well, you could hear the birds in the background anyway, so
right.
Tell it wasn't a bird.
So they like Mary and Shayna. They blind little. They like women, I guess. They whistled at them. But where was I? So that's the stuff, the strange stuff that goes on up there. I mean, I got other stuff I could play. I got whoops and stuff like that.
Yeah.
With the radio frequency and everything, then now I'm starting to think that there's something else going on, and there's more to the picture. And as we started thinking that way and presenting our investigations that way and bringing the RF meters with us, and things just kept on getting stranger and stranger and stranger. Then all of a sudden I had an eye detachment. My retina detached, and it's still healing.
Yeah.
Everything followed me to the house. I couldn't get out in the forest anymore, so now everything came with us to here. Let's see, where do I start? Well, we can start with the coyote leg. That happened when we were at Larry's, and I got sick, and I had appendicitis. Not appendicitis, what it was, gallbladder. I had my gallbladder out, and I couldn't make it to the gifting area for a month. Well, one morning I walked down the stairs, and Maria says, "There's something by the back door. I don't know what it is." And I'm like, I look back, I'm like, yeah, what the heck is that? I'm looking down at it because it's the next floor down, right here, right in back of me. So I come down, I open up the door, and bam, there's a coyote leg at my back door, freshly ripped off the dog.
Are we ready?
Freshly ripped off the dog. Now we have a picture of it. If you guys are grossed out by seeing pictures of it, I would close your eyes, because this is a fresh rip. This was brutally ripped off a dog.
Yeah.
I can't explain why it was left at my back door. I can only imagine that maybe it was a gift from them. This is just one of the first things that's happened here at my house. You can show them if you.
Yep. There we go.
So this is the dog. This was left at our back door, back cellar door. You got the other picture too?
Yep.
There you go. Now you can see where it was torn. That's ripped from the poor dog. Now I felt so bad for that dog. We threw that I threw that leg into the woods, and I went and got the buddies at work because I wanted to show them my work where I live. So I wanted to show them the leg. We came back down, and the leg was gone. It was gone. 10 minutes. I don't know what took it, or whatever took it was probably watching that I threw it in the woods. It wasn't a bear. There was no animal that came and grabbed that coyote leg.
So, sorry. So from when you received the leg to when you threw it back into the woods, what was the time scale on that?
It wasn't very long. I looked at it. I picked it up. I got a glove, and then I went and threw it in the woods. I came in, told Maria what it was, and then I went and got my friend. So 10 minutes, it was gone.
Right. So yeah, I reckon there was watching.
Right.
Waiting.
Right there. So I think it took it back. I mean, that was just that doesn't happen. And then now your head is like that. Just who does that?
No, that's mafia stuff, isn't it? That's like the artist's head in the fridge.
Right. How do you know where you live? These guys are a step ahead of you. I believe that the aliens are entangled with these guys. I really think they're. Melba Ketchum is coming up with DNA that's not of this world. It's coming up dead. How can you have something dead have DNA? You can't.
What the hell?
Yeah. There's something, I don't know if it's the Bible, the Nephilim, or it's alien. They're genetically altered, right? We can genetically alter an animal, but they can't reproduce. Sasquatch can reproduce.
Right. So that's a connection.
So what does that tell you? We didn't do it.
No.
Either the big guy upstairs, whatever you believe in, your highest power, whatever. I mean, everybody has their own beliefs, and that's all the power to you. I don't go on anybody's beliefs.
Nope.
But these guys are genetically altered by something that's not human.
Yeah.
So it's either alien or what you believe in. That's the only two things that can do it.
Well, that's got me thinking then. So if the alien, I'm guessing we're talking greys, if they can't reproduce and the Bigfoot can reproduce, is that what their connection or a connection between them two could be?
All right. I don't know. I don't know what kind of aliens. I just found out recently because we had something here happen at the house that'll blow your mind once I get there too.
Yeah.
That there's more than grays out there. There's other kinds of aliens. I don't know all the names of them, but There's ranches, the ranch, Colorado Ranch. If you guys don't never know about that, do a little research on that. That's a crazy place out there. They had a cube out there that said the aliens came. They were talking to the people. They told the Sasquatch to come out of the woods, touch this cube thing. The Sasquatch came out of the woods, touched the cube, and went down, boom.
Oh,
I don't know if it died or it just crippled it or whatever it did, and the aliens had control over it. So, I mean, you can only believe what you want to believe, and who knows what happened. But this place is just like Skinwalker Ranch.
yeah.
Just crazy stuff going on. So I don't know what's going on, but all I know is that it's all linked because they're all following the same. It's all coming in a pattern.
Yeah.
So a few years, so that was at Larry's. Then Larry's ended. So now I'm trying to figure out, how do they know where you live? Now I have a big structure that's in my backyard. I don't know if I sent a picture of it.
Is of
50
this
yards.
one? No.
That's the print in 2021. Now that's a log at the gifting area.
Right.
Top one was 1 week, and then the next week was that. What was added? That log, that straight up and down log, was added in the back of the break, and the log was turned.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looks like it's a different angle.
So they played games with us at this log. One time they would have a stick laying on this, right? And it was laying on the side like this. Sometimes it would be on one side. We'd go up on the other side. One time we went up, it was balancing like this.
Like
they moved on it. It was crazy. Right before Thanksgiving, I remember, and I thought it was a whole different tree. And then I'm like, whoa, it's not Larry. It's the
same tree.
It's the same tree. And it was crazy.
Wow.
So how do they know where you live? Now that's a nest. I believe to be a nest.
Right.
6 foot by 9 foot. That's up at Larry's too. We found 2 of them. So they were starting to stay at Larry's. This was the last year again before they sold it. We found 2 of these nests. One by the gift rock, and this one was farther into the forest. Now these are all broken branches laid off, and you can see in the middle there's something that's nesting in there. There's something that's laying down in there, and it's big. We found 2 of those nests up there. So they were starting to stay there. I don't think they were there all the time, all those years, until the last year.
Yeah, that's right. I'm just looking to see if you've sent the one of the... Oh, that's another print. Sorry.
Yeah. That's our first print there.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's the first print we found at Rock Throw Alley. Wow. One print on the side. There was a cliff on my right-hand side.
Yeah.
And there was one print coming up off the cliff. And that was it.
Wow.
Beautiful print.
Yeah. I don't think you've sent one of the
structure. It's a big teepee structure. It's crazy.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
No, that's the compass tree at Larry's. Now we found this tree, and we were coming up one morning. This was early spring. This tree, a couple weeks passed, and we were coming up at 5 o'clock in the morning. A month passed or something. It was bright and warm, and the sun was coming right up in front here. If you look straight ahead, the sun was coming right up between that X.
Yeah.
I told Larry, I said, Larry, this is due east. It's perfectly east. That sun's coming right up in the middle of it. I said, let's bring a compass the next time we're here and let's check it out. Brought a compass up. We put it on the center of that X. Yeah. Magnetic north to the left. Pinned. It was a compass. It was a directional tree. We're checking that out. Meanwhile, in back of us, knock, knock. They're watching us. The next week we come up, guess what happened? It's on the ground. They took it down. But the X is still magnetic north. But they put it on the ground. Pretty wild. I got that in the video. You can hear the knocks. You can see us with the compass. You hear the knocks in back of us. Larry goes, "Oh, I heard them." Another wild. That's why Larry's was so depressing when they sold it, because we had such great activity up there. It was awesome.
Oh, I can imagine. Really can. Right. So sorry, I just was looking for that and besides. Right. So back to the house, please.
All right. So this year we had a sighting here in town. Now, we've had sightings here in Connecticut. They're in the BFR reports. They were basically in the 70s and everything, but we never had a sighting here in town. But it was down. Larry's is connected by a dam, a couple of dams, and a creek. Like I told you, the creek joined it up. So the creek comes down past Larry's, and it comes down into town through the dams. So this sighting was down at the bottom of the creek bed, coming across the creek and into the forest. She's seen it. And she put it on social media. I seen a Sasquatch today, da-da-la-la-la. So later on that week, my wife feeds every animal that she possibly can. And she has a hummingbird feeder outside.
Yeah.
So she got out. She would go out every morning, but she would go in there, and the hummingbird water lid would be popped off. And now it's glass. This isn't one of those cheap little chintzy hummingbirds, glass.
Yeah.
And it has flowers all around it. Top of the lid's popped off, all the flowers are plucked off, and all the juice is drank, and it's still hanging in the tree.
Right.
That went on for 4 days. Now this is after the sighting in town. 4 days, and on the fourth day they took one of her flowers. Same exact activity every day, except on the last time they took her flower. She got mad. She comes in the house and says, "Tell your buddies that I want my flower back," because she knows now who's doing it. She has no doubt that they're here. And I said, "Oh, they'll probably bring it back." Well, sure enough, the next morning they brought it back, but they piled them all in a little pile for her underneath the feeder. Because like they knew she was mad that they took the flower. That night I'm laying in bed and my room starts to shake. And my grandbabies live with us and they're taking a bath. So I thought it was the pipes in the bathroom. So I got up and I'm like, well, it wasn't the pipes in the bathroom. I go, what's going on? And Maria goes, "There's a helicopter over our house hovering about 40 feet." And it was a blacked out helicopter over our house. It took off. The next day we looked through all the flight logs everywhere we possibly could. There was nothing logged in for a helicopter flight. The Sasquatch activity stops. Stops. So why or how or what the helicopter was doing? Was it a warning to me? Stop what you're doing? Was it they chasing them out? I don't know. A week later, I get mind speak while I meditate.
Yeah.
Get mind speak meditating. And it goes, "Nah, nah, 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 nah. Nah, 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 nah." And then all of a sudden, "Natari." And then I see this face of a Sasquatch in my head. I drew a picture of her. It took me a while to find her. I drew a picture of her. I can still see her. As if I close my eyes, I can see her perfectly.
Yeah.
Natari is a name that I've never said in my life. I might have said Atari when I was little playing 20. Natari, never. Never, never, never. So that same night, I was asking for proof that I was wondering if they were still out back or they left, or did the chopper chase them away? That's what I was asking them. The Natari came to me, and then the next morning I woke up and Maria goes, "Look in the backyard. What is that?" There's a Tupperware container and a monkey. The same type of monkey we used to strap in the tree in our backyard.
So not the same one, but the same type.
Right. I asked them the question, "Are you still out back?" They showed me the Tupperware and the thing. It's the same one from Larry's. They're the only ones that know that we were using the Tupperware and the monkey.
Right.
So I put the monkey in the tree out back, left it there for, I don't know how long, 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I don't quite remember how long. And then I had another mind speak. And this time it was a little 4-foot Sasquatch, all black with like bald. He had no hair around his eyes.
Yeah.
For some reason I had a beach ball on my chest, and he jumped over my bed and on top of the beach ball, and he goes, "Archibald," like that. And I wake up and I'm like, "Whoa, what was that, Archibald?" Beach ball. I'm like, this is getting really weird. Let alone, you know what I mean? Let alone getting the monkey and everything. Well, for 2 days, Maria tells me, she goes, "None of the animals have been to the feeders, the squirrels, the birds. Nothing's been around for 2 days."
Yeah.
I'm like, then I tell her what happened with the dream about Archibald. She goes, well, and then I'm thinking, well, what if that's the sign that he's out back? Because there's no animals coming to the house. What if he's out back? And I didn't even think about that until after she told me that the animals weren't coming.
Right.
So the next morning after that, I get up and she's like, oh, the squirrels are back and everything. So I go out back. I look out the back window. Guess what's gone? The monkey in the tree is gone.
Ah.
They took the monkey back.
So it was them there the previous day.
Was there the whole time in the back of the forest waiting for me, but I couldn't put one and one together.
Right. So they was waiting for you to work it all out before they made their next move.
Yeah. So 2 weeks later, it's voting time. We're going out to vote. And I walk into the house and I look up when Maria's coming out of the house and I'm like, oh my Lord, what is that? And Maria just takes a little glance. She goes, oh, it's just I'm like, Maria, look at that. That is no airplane. She looks up. She goes, oh my God, what is that? There was a craft over our house the size of a football field. It was all made out of triangles. And it was like a big octagon shape. It had a white light on the front and a red and blue light on the back. And it came up out of the woods and it hovered. And it was only like 20 feet over our house. And it made zero noise. Zero noise. And me and Maria are going down the parking lot. We're pointing up at it. And there's people out there.
Yeah.
Like, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. These people never turned. They never turned. It was like we weren't there.
So I was going to say, could they not hear you?
That Maria still blows her mind. She's like, how did they people did not know we were there? We hopped in the car and we followed it and it banked. And I mean, it was the craziest thing I've ever seen. And then we followed it and went up the hill and then took a left and then got into the woods and boom, gone. Where'd it go? This thing was the size of a buildings. It was the biggest thing we've ever seen. It was all copper triangles. It was wild. And so that happened in like 2 months. All that happened in 2 months here. And Maria was like, you know what? This is your stuff. I don't want nothing to do with all this. Why is this happening now? So everything's kind of calmed down since the thing. I still get like stuff in meditation. I still have vivid Sasquatch dreams. I still get that other stuff with the meditation, but like it. I think that it all means something, but I can't put the pieces together. So, but
do you think then they're giving you bits of different things for you to work out yourself?
I believe that. Yeah, they're
not so much as a game, but what you need to work it out before we can tell you anything.
Right. Yep.
That's what I'm getting from this.
Yeah, I've reached out to other couple of people like just like your energy, you're at a different level, you're vibrating differently. Things react differently to you. Today I walked out my front door and there was a black bear sitting on my front door. Now we have a lot of bears here. Regardless, but he was just sitting right on the front stoop today and scared the heck out of me. You know, not a lot of people get black bears on their front steps when they're leaving after lunch for work. I mean, just stuff like that. And just the crazy stuff that goes on, man. It's just, you can't make sense of it. I'm just a grandfather that likes to collect baseball cards. I never asked for this to progress like this. And
no.
We have piggybackers. I had to have my house blessed. The babies were seeing monsters here. I had 3 scratches on the inside of my arm. That's when Al Santoriga, the Godfather himself, he contacted somebody that they were actually exorcists, and they came to the house and did him a favor by blessing my house. I was telling you about this room. My cats would never come in this room, ever, ever, ever. We had the house blessed. And I was sitting down here actually talking to Al, and my cat came in and jumped up on my lap the same day as we had the house blessed. Now, they said it wasn't evil. They said it was an Indian spirit.
Yeah.
Where this is going to get cool, too. They said it was an Indian spirit. There's Sasquatch and alien presence outside. They didn't know what I did. Al didn't tell them what I did. No. She told us all this stuff. It's a heavy feeling. She goes, you guys feel heavy in this house? She's like, you walked somewhere with 2 other people that you weren't supposed to be. You didn't know it, but you walked over. Now, Chris and Betty, his sister from Florida, have piggybackers at their house. They have if we have the same activity ramps up at their houses when it ramps up here.
Right.
She says
So
we're
it's like a mirroring effect.
right. She says we're connected for life. Now she's the real deal. I couldn't believe, Maria couldn't believe everything there. After they blessed the house, Maria's like, I can't believe this. Like, it feels like there's a weight lifted off my shoulders. She goes, I can't explain it. But they offered tobacco outside. So Natari was the first Native American saint.
Right.
Right. Now listen, this could be conspiracy theory or everything. Her family died of polio. But guess what happened to her? She survived. She was disformed. She went blind.
Ah, the eye.
What happened to me? 3 times my eye is detached.
Is that? See, I've never heard that. Is that a common? It's not.
No, you have to have trauma or old age, or like you're older than me. I mean, I'm old, but I'm not like 90.
Yeah, I was going to say you must be like touching 100 or something to get something like that.
Right. So who knows? I can't say for sure that's what was the cause of, but who knows? But I never thought of working up the name Natari. I didn't even know it would be a name, but that was Al and them guys. They all looked it up and came back and says she was the first American Native American saint.
Ah.
She used to heal people. She was a healer. So it was a pretty wild story for that name to just pop in your head and to see the picture.
Wow. Yeah, I'm sorry. I've just one of the questions is from Al, because he's put, Chris, which are the ones that come to your house? But I mean, you've just answered. So
what do you mean? Which ones are the ones that come to? I don't understand, Al.
I think he means a Bigfoot. So the ones that come into your house with the,
right. So I think
the ones that left the leg.
Yeah, I think it's the ones from Larry's. There has to be.
Yeah.
I don't think the ones from Rock Throw Alley come here. I think they're nestled there. I think they're bound to that area. I think they because they're always there. I know the spots I could bring you. You could come here tomorrow and we could go there and we probably have an interaction. I know exactly where to go. Exactly what we use, the same whistle. That's how we let them know we're coming. That, like I played for you, that's the same whistle we use. I use it in all my areas. I use it at Larry's, which we don't go to anymore. I'm very sad about that. But up the road is the whistle that we use. It's the same.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna play a quick EVPs for you. This is at Rock Through Alley.
Yeah, please do.
Now tell me what you hear.
Okay.
Did you hear it? I'll play it again. You hear it? Help?
I thought it was hello.
No, it's help. It sounds like help. I'll play it again.
Yeah.
All right. So we just got our packs on at the bottom of the trail, and that's why there's cars there, and that's what we get.
Right.
Hour and a half into our trip. Did you hear that?
Yeah. It sounds like a kid's voice.
Do you hear the help again?
Yeah.
So now that's an hour and a half in it. So I didn't put one and one together, but Al does. Al calls me. He goes, you know what's up with those helps? I'm like, nothing. It followed you. It followed you up the trail. You were at your car, and an hour and a half into the trail, you got the help again. It's the same voice.
Yeah.
It followed you. And that just blows. That makes you start thinking again. What's following?
Why help? Why help?
I don't know.
Is it trapped or
are they trying to lead you into the forest? What if somebody see? That's why awareness is so important. That people need to know about this, that it's real, because I seen a family of 4 walking up the same trail. Now, what if they heard that thing say help and they went looking for it and something bad happened to them? I mean, you got to be aware this stuff happens.
Yeah.
Very important, everybody. And I think that's I think if we could all just do that together, make people aware of what's in the forest, what's going on, because this stuff really happens.
Yeah. Well, that brings me to one of the next questions from Nickname. So she's put, do they sound like the missing 411 hunted ad? So it's not
like the gibberish ones, like the voices, like kind of like Ron Moorhead. Is that what she's referring to? The Sierra sounds?
I'm hoping she'll reply. Are people missing in these areas? That was the next bit that she put on there. Sorry, go on.
The forests aren't like the missing 411 areas. I mean, I'm sure they probably could. Yes, the gibber. I've never heard it, but Ron Moorhead's been on my show before, and I've heard it, and many other people have heard it, the gibberish. So, yeah, they definitely do it. I think that's their language. I think what Ron Moorhead caught was their language. I think that's how they communicate with each other.
Right.
So, yeah, and it's caught. I have other recordings here that are from Louisiana that have the same gibberish, that have a bunch of stuff. We're actually we're working on my website right now. We're going to put up an audio section, and people will send in Sasquatch audio from all over the country, and we're going to log it. And you're going to be able to see what part of the country, and you're going to be able to hear all the recordings. So we just started doing that. So
cool.
Look forward to that. But yes, I believe I've heard it in all different areas, so I believe that they use it 100%.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, Joe's just put, there was a video of a bicycle trail rider that came to a tree laying across the path, and when he got off to move the tree, he heard someone saying help, but there's nobody there.
Yep. It's reported often. Help.
Yeah. It's freaky though, isn't it?
Another one. I got another one here. This is another EVP. This is one's from up the road.
Right.
Says, hey, Rob.
That sounds like the same voice.
No, that's me saying, huh, because I hear it.
No, the hey, Rob bit.
Yeah.
That sounds like the help voice.
Oh, no, maybe. But that's two different areas. Those are 20 miles apart. Right. So do these things follow you from area to area? Could possibly do it. All right, I want to play one more for you guys that I want to see. This is one. This is a very cool. Now, do you notice when I play my recordings, you hear running water?
Yeah.
That's another thing that Al picked up on. I have never. This is not near running water.
He mentioned that when he was on, when we was talking about
Yeah, so that's why
for some reason on every EVP, every recording, it's like you're next to a river or a waterfall or something. Right.
Now this one's from the frozen swamp in February in Connecticut. There is no running water.
You hear that?
No.
That sounds like a hey, like that.
No.
Coming from up here.
Wow, I heard it that time. Did
you
hear it?
Yeah.
I heard the hey.
See?
Yeah, it's a deep voice. Yeah.
Did you hear
that was different to the help and hey, Rob.
So now we're 12 feet apart. The guy in the back heard the first hey. The three of us that were ahead of him didn't hear it. The three of us heard the second hey, and he didn't hear it. And then the water happens. I'll play it again. You got it. There's two hays. He hears the first hey. It's right off the bat. It goes hey, and then the second hey is like hey. There's two different voices.
You hear that?
No.
That sounds like a hey, like that.
No.
Coming from up here. I gotta be careful.
Wow, I heard it that time. Did you hear it?
Yeah.
I heard the hey.
See?
I just heard that right here.
Yeah, I heard both of them. The first one,
yeah, and then
sounded a lot closer than the second one.
Yeah, and then you hear the running water.
Yeah, constantly running water.
You heard him step through the ice. Did you hear him crunch through the ice when he says, "You got to be careful up there"? And he goes,
"Oh yeah,
yeah."
Ah, right.
So,
do you use a digital recorder?
Always
Always
going on my backpack.
Oh yeah, I remember you put it on behind you, so if there's anything, I remember you saying the other day.
Yeah, always clipped onto the backpack. So, I mean, those are cool. Cool things. And I want to find the mimic whistle, and then that's the last one I'll play for you and see if this is it. Now that's them mimicking our whistle. Here's our whistle. Okay, I'm whistling.
Right.
And now here's their mimic. See, they almost get it. It's
So
close.
was that 3 or 4?
What do you mean, 3 or 4?
I heard, like, when they was doing the whistling back, I definitely heard 3 whistles coming back.
Yeah, they go. They do it at a different tone though that we do it.
Yeah, because one of them sounded like it was in stereo.
Oh, you mean three different things?
Yeah, no, yeah. Sorry, so 3 separate whistles back.
Oh, that would be cool. I never noticed that before.
I noticed there's 3 separate whistles coming back, but the second one sounded like it was like you've got a pair of headphones on. So rather than coming from one direction, it was like all around. That's how it sounded to me.
Yeah, so that's pretty wild that they try to mimic. So that's like you get the donkey and the chicken noises and stuff like that.
Oh, so crazy. That really, I'm so jealous.
All right. Well, so now this is the last one. Now I have there's a whole different scene. They moved in on us. They would throw stones.
Yeah.
And then they would come a little closer and they would throw stones. And then finally they're on the campsite. So I didn't do all the stone throws. I didn't want you, just listen to them coming through the woods. But this is when they were close. We were camping and we were sleeping. And the recorder caught this one. So they whistle.
Yeah.
And come through the foliage, the rock. And then at the end, there's 2 clacks. Clack, clack. So there's one that was on the other side of us that the clacks came from, and then the whistle came in. So I think it was signaling to the guy that whistled that there was no movement and he could come closer. That's what I.
Can you play that one again, please?
This was off a Tascam. This is when we first started. This was when we first started at Up the Road, so the quality isn't that great. Yeah. We didn't know how to edit them, so that's why it sounds a little digitally. But you can hear the whistle and the rock throw and the 2 clacks at the end.
Yeah. Yeah, that click, click,
click, click. So that was closer than the rock, the whistle. So
yeah, but then the rock, that sounded like it was right near you.
Yeah, well, that came flying in at the area, so to see if believe to get our reaction if nobody was awake, so they could come in closer. That night, we seen the spider crawl come down the mountain. It was pretty wild, but I lost the footage. We recorded it too.
No.
We recorded it on the flare. The guy that was with me was so bummed. He's like, I can't believe you can't find it. I said, I don't even know where it went. It's not, everything else is there, but not the spider crawl. So,
oh my God.
Yeah, that happens though. It does happen. Your technology, you can't always depend on it.
No. I'm jealous, but kind of like glad I'm not there at the same time.
That's
I'd
why
love
we
to experience it, but
there's like 5 other stone throws before that because they were throwing it. You know, they were moving closer every time they'd throw a stone.
yeah,
And that's when they were right on that. You can see the whole sequence on the ones from up the road on my channel.
right.
It shows the EVP that I played with the haze. It shows them keeping up on us with that and a bunch of other stuff. So I think it shows the trackway too. So that's a good video.
Excellent, thank you. Right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the QR code up so anyone can scan it, and it's got all your links and platforms on there. Is that correct?
Yep, it's got everything. Every YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. My Facebook group is private, but if you guys are interested in joining, there's a lot of good people. I have over 1,000 members, and we're all drama free there. We all have a voice. Just don't make it sound like you're the only voice. I mean, the voice.
Yeah, don't be too loud.
Of course, it's all IMO, and that's why we like to keep it there. No drama. So answer a couple questions and tell me where you were listening to the podcast, and you guys can come on in and more than welcome.
Thank you. Right, we do have a few questions, if that's okay. They're some a bit random, but we're coming up to 2 hours now.
Holy cow, that hour went. Yeah, see, I start rambling.
This is flown by. It's felt like I've been sat here 10 minutes.
Oh,
I'm not even joking. Honestly, it's just so fascinating.
Yeah,
well, it's amazing.
I love it. I'm glad that I got involved in it, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. And we have some great things. I'm actually going with Al on an expedition here very soon next month.
Yes.
Up to his sacred spot, and I'm looking forward to that because
because I'm gonna get you both back on out together.
Yeah, and then I'm headed to Canada to the Sasquatch Attacks place at Snell Grove Lake with Doug Hychek, the producer from Monster Quest this year also. So I'm looking forward to that. That's on my bucket list. Ever since I seen that, I've always wanted to go there, and I got the opportunity. So
now you're going.
No, I'm going.
Don't blame you.
I'm excited about that, but you got a great audience too. Great questions, very, very well mannered, and there's a lot of you run into trolls out there, and that they're not fun to have.
Well, we had a few on Wednesday when I had Barry Littleton on, and it could have gone better. Put it that way, but it happens. It's part of the package, isn't it? Really.
Oh, I know, but it's always nice to have a nice crowd. So
definitely, it's better to not have him, but it goes, doesn't it? Right, unfortunately. Right, so we've got 6-7 questions. So if we do quick fire, is that okay?
That'll work.
Right. So I'll just work through them top to bottom. So the first one is from Mike Wright. Has Chris ever encountered any other cryptids?
Not that I can say. I have encountered spirits. I encountered spirits when I was small. Seen full apparition when I was probably like 10 years old. I don't know. The dog thing has me questioning it. Could it have been a dog man? I didn't know much about dogmen when I first started, so that could have been a dog man. I don't know.
Yeah.
But other than that, the aliens, something had to be flying that ship. Again, we were to this day, nobody's ever commented on it, seeing that thing that they were out in that parking lot that day. So we're in somewhere else. I've been there a few times. Like I said, we've been there 3 times now. I've been somewhere else.
Yeah.
So
I truly believe that.
But yeah, nothing that I can say 100% other than the full apparition that I seen.
Yeah. No, thank you. Next question is from South Coast. South Coast Rich. He would like to know: do you find that all of the wildlife in the forest goes quiet when Sasquatch, dogmen, etc., are arriving in the area?
120 million%. The whole area, the whole forest will shut off. You will not hear a bird. You will not hear even the mosquitoes disappear. Everything goes. It happens, and it's documented everywhere. And I have experienced it many, many, many times. So yes,
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, thank you for that. Next one is from Alien Woods. Do you always leave them an offering? I'm guessing we're talking Bigfoot again now.
Yeah, I haven't left them anything since we stopped at Larry's, because we knew them at Larry's and we knew that we were gifting with them for 6 years. But I don't leave anything at Rock Throw Alley. I never have. So no, I did at Larry's, but no, not ever since. No. So the last year and a half, we haven't done anything. And it was always apples and peanut butter, and never got. And they like dinosaur toys, and they would always disappear. And then they had a quartz rock they would bring back and forth. I mean, you can see it all on the channel. It's pretty amazing what went on there.
Yeah, thank you. Next one is from Nickname. She would like to know, do you set up trap/game cams?
We used to, but then the activity would stop. We had a couple crazy things that happened on the game cam. We had actually had a knock one time captured on the game cam, and then the deer that were on the game cam took off. That was pretty wild. We had a game camera where they were waving sticks in front of it, and it would set the game camera off.
Wow.
You could see the sticks wave. You'd see the picture, and the stick would be in front of it, and then they would record, and there would be nothing there. No movement, no nothing. So they were setting them off. I mean, they're very smart. At least that's setting them off.
Yeah, they know what they're doing, don't they?
Yeah. They
for stuff like that.
But the knock and the deer video is very, very cool. I forgot what video it's in. We have it out there somewhere. But you knock, and then the deer pop their heads up and they bolt.
Wow. Yeah.
No, we haven't used them since. I haven't used them in years, but we're going to try using them this year, because we're going to try to bring orbs in. We have we're working on that right now. We're going to try and see if we can bring the orbs in.
Yes. No. Cheers. Right, 2 more questions. Next one is Alien Woods. Do you notice a certain kind of weather pattern is present when they present themselves?
No, see, I haven't, like I said earlier tonight, that's part of our new plans of documenting everything and paying attention. But they seem to like July and October for some reason. We've always had great luck in July and October. So we're going to pay attention to that a little bit more this year. We're going to write down the sunshine. If it's raining, I always put down the temperature on my videos, tell what day it is, the temp. But I'm going to, like Al says, we should write down the moon phases and, what time, what's going on that day, the barometric pressures and all that. So this year we're going to pay more attention to it. So, because I think it's important for sure.
Right. Thank you. And then the last question is from That's Fresh, and they want to know, Chris, what time of day were these recorded? I'm guessing it's EVPs. Was it after 4 p.m.? Do you know? Can you remember?
See, the whistle, the girls was before 4 p.m. The rock throw with the whistle at it was 2 o'clock in the morning, early morning. The helps were before 4 p.m. The Hey Rob was before 4 p.m. And then I'll play you guys the Whoop. I'll play that right now before we go. This is up.
Oh yeah, please.
This one's pretty cool.
I bought the nighttime Z6 last year. You hear that?
Yeah, yeah. That was a whoop.
That was a whoop. They're in back of us too. That wasn't a dog.
Wow.
Mark that. That was a whoop.
I'll play it one more time. It's right at the beginning.
I bought the nighttime Z6 last year. You hear that?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that was a whoop.
That was a whoop. They're in back of us too. That wasn't a dog.
You hear the water?
Mark that. That was a whoop.
Now that's at Rock Throw Alley, the same area as the girls got that whistle this year.
Yeah.
The same exact spot, the same exact corner, and they run up in that corner, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. We've never been up in there because they always distract us. This year we're going. There's a certain reason that we've never been there, because everything when we get there, they do something that takes our mind off of going up there.
Ah,
Where we're going.
yeah.
So
So like you said, they know what you're doing before you do it.
that's why you should never talk about, if you're in an investigation and you know the area you're going to, you should never think about it before you go.
That's where I keep going wrong. It's got to be. It's got to be that. Because the first few times, there's a couple of local places that I go to. One's an old church. There's not even a roof on it anymore. There's no windows, no doors. And the other one's a cemetery. And I always get excited when I know I'm going to be going doing an investigation, especially if I'm doing a live stream. But the last few times have been nothing.
Yeah, don't say nothing. Don't say anything to anybody next time you go. Try it out. Don't even tell anybody you're going until that you get there.
Yeah, I'll try that.
Try it out.
Hopefully, it's going to be in the next few weeks, but that's all I'm going to say. But I've not decided which one I'm going to yet.
I'll stay with Chris. I'm focused, buddy.
Yeah, no. So massive thank you for coming on and sharing all of that information. Absolutely amazing.
Well, thank you for having me. It was, like I said, you guys are awesome. Great questions, great everything. Had a great time. Good time.
Yep. And hopefully I'll keep in touch. And then you and Elle are going to be coming back on. I've got it marked down somewhere. I think I've sent you the date, but I can't think off the top of my head. And then you can tell us, hopefully, if any encounters you get. Is it next month you're going in June?
Yeah, we're going in June. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think we're coming back in September. Al said, was it September?
Is it? I'll have a quick look on the calendar. Oh, there we go. May.
You stay focused. Don't let them distract you on your investigations.
15th of September. That's it.
So we'll be back. I look forward to it.
Yeah, me too. Definitely. So thank you everyone for your questions and joining the chat and keeping it nice and no trolling going on. Thank you everyone that listens on the podcast and downloads. Listen to on all different platforms. All the links for Chris are in the description on here. If you go back, you can go on the QR code and scan it. I'll put it up again now so you can all see it. So just get your phone and scan it and off you go. So there you go. There's that. And yeah, we can find you on Discover Sasquatch. That's your YouTube channel, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Yep. And we do podcasts on Tuesday nights at 8 Eastern here in the States. And we got some great shows coming up. I actually got a show coming up called The Hand of Unknown Origin. It was a hand by Buddy Don Moreau found in a cave, said to be a Sasquatch hand.
Yeah.
I have the x-rays now. He's done a lot more searching on it. He has a chiropractic doctor that looked at the x-rays and examined the hand and said 100% it's not a beaver claw or a bear claw or anyway. It's a somewhat of a human hand, but it's huge. So it used to be big when it first came out, and it got cut down and put away by the powers to be. And now we're going to bring it back out for everybody to see, and with the new proof. And so that's coming up. So look forward to that. The Hand of Unknown Origin.
Definitely. Right. So massive thank you again for coming on. Thank you for Elle for suggesting Chris. Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that the word? I don't know. I'm getting tired now. Sorry.
I've
been up since 5 o'clock this morning.
Yeah.
But no, just thank you for everyone. And them recordings, the videos, just everything has been absolutely fantastic.
Cool.
Love every moment of it.
I had a great time. Thank you.
No, thanks for joining. So just before we do go, on Wednesday we've got Laura Eisenhower coming on. Then that's on the 10th, and then on Friday we've got Albert Rosales coming back on. So we will see you guys hopefully next Wednesday, if not next Friday. Chris, are you all right to stay on after we come off and have a quick chat?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I'll be here. I'm here.
Is that right? So I'm going to end the show now, play the outro video, I'll chat with you in a minute. And once again, thanks everyone. Thanks for Joe and Nick doing the modding and sending the questions through. Have a wicked weekend. Enjoy the King's coronation for what it's going to be worth. And I'll see you next week. So take care and good night. See you soon.
Bye.